But I will say I think, and I think you gave Brighton, sorry, it's due for how well they played. And I when I saw the lineup, I thought that Arteta, I don't know how to put this. I don't want to say he was arrogant, but playing um Jorginho against a Brighton where they are used to holding the ball, they're used to keeping possession. I thought that that was a little bit of a bad tactical move. I thought y'all needed to be a little bit stronger in defense within possessing like they have. I mean, I watched Chelsea just 3 weeks ago watch Brighton hold the ball and take 30 freaking shots. So it's I'm used to it, but I did find that interesting that he went with Jorginho. It was more like we're going to have possession. We're going to pick a pass. We're going to need to do that. And there were some times where Jorginho did that. But I did find it interesting that him and Gilmore really kind of went after it because they're pretty much alike as players. The one thing that I took from this game from the Brighton side is just how great McAllister is. I've watched him multiple times, but to see him to step up to that level of the talent that Arsenal has was kind of surprising for me, honestly, because I haven't seen anything this year to make me think like, why does people want McAllister more than Caicedo? And I came away understanding that completely. But I will say this: I thought that as the home team, you did nothing to dictate the game, and I don't know if that was because y'all kind of punted the rest of the season. Maybe you have. I mean, that's bad. And I can understand the whole, like, maybe they knew the how much Everton lost to City. I get that, but if you have a winner's mentality, you're still going out to win because you never know what might happen. I mean, who would have thought the Arsenal would have drawn against Southampton and West Ham? I mean, honestly. And that's why you play the games. It looks dire, but you want to keep that pressure on. Now you've taken that pressure off completely. And, Lewis has said something previously about, you said it actually, I'm sorry, about how you want City to stay under pressure and, having to play, Real, and maybe they have a slip up along the way. And that's kind of the difference between Arsenal right now and City. City lives in that pressure. They know how to handle that pressure. I think Arsenal's still learning that. And I think it goes back to all the podcasts previously. I think some of that is the youth, some of that not being in that moment and learning how to win. I've said that multiple times. And I think that this is, while it sucks, I think this is going to be a huge launching point for next year for y'all to say, okay, this burned, this just ate at us completely. We're not going to allow it to happen again.
Yeah, I hope you're right. I hope you're right for sure. And you're right, Brighton were fantastic. And McAllister, especially because we were focusing on him. You saw how Odegaard was trying to blanket him. We were focusing on him. You saw Xhaka when they switched up would try to blanket him, and he kept a cool head, stuck to their tactics, which gave them space. And you're right. Like I was shocked that we just couldn't keep the ball. That's how we dominate games: is we keep the ball and we win second balls. We didn't do either of those things. And so they literally controlled the whole. They dominated the game, controlled the whole game from the first minute to the 96th minute. Yeah, we weren't in it, and I don't know how that happens at this point of the season. I couldn't tell you. It doesn't happen to City at this point in the season. What are y'all on, a 24-game win streak or something ridiculous right now?
Crazy like that.
Yeah, hadn't been beaten in 25 games or something.
You know, the interesting thing is I watched the Arsenal game, and the first thought I had was, how will watching someone else win affect them? Because I mean, even though the chance was tiny, is to repeat what Patrick said, is that you I mean, you really just got to go out there and play to win. You can't even worry about someone else's result, which is, I mean, it's, I mean, I know I've said it a few times. It's my personal mentality. I'm not really worried about anybody else. I win the game in front of me. I focus on us, and then whatever you do is what you do. And I think, like the error, which goal was it? Was this the second goal where who they played the ball back, and because Ramsdale made the save. Was it
That was the third goal
the
when
third goal?
Trossard banged it off dude's knee.
But it was lazy. You could see the pass was completely lazy because he was checked out. Even because I saw there was a little bit of fight where the guys were like, all right, let's try to figure it out after that second goal. But then, it was a lazy pass. Ramsdale was like, what are you doing? And it was just, it's weird because, for example, last week you said, hey, City play first, so this gives us something to watch. And I agree, from your mentality, that makes sense. But for me, it's similar to what Patrick said. I don't watch anybody else's game. I don't care. Because why should I care about their result? I mean, if my goal is to go out there and play, then I shouldn't worry about what my margin of victory is, or my only goal is my opponent. Score more goals than my opponent. That's it. And the interesting thing about it is that I'm not going to necessarily say City are unbothered. I think they're aware of the pressure. It's just they have to understand that they say, hey, the goal is here. So when you ask the win streak, while I'm not in their locker room, I don't know what it is. And I don't care, because the only game that I want them to win is the next one. That's it. I mean, I can't think about somebody's like, how many games left? I don't know. You tell me when I don't have any more. Because at that point, that's all that really matters. If we're worried about all the minutia of everything else going around, then I mean, you're not focused.
Right.
And the thing about it is that there was criticism about substitutions in the City game, but you look, the goal was to win the game. And I give Arteta did something like this when he managed a couple games at City when I think Pep was out or something. Is that he's tactically, in general, he's a good manager, he's a good player, he understands the game. But that fire of being in the situation, you can't teach response in that.
Right.
You can't teach that. Either you got it or you don't. And so the funny thing is you say, and I agree, Jesus was playing his butt off, but at the same time of him playing his butt off, he still wasn't producing. And so you say you play hard, but if you're not producing, then I kind of get why. I agree. I wouldn't have taken him off, but I understood. He's like, okay, this other guy might bring some life that'll do something. He thought it would be a spark, and it didn't do anything. Because I wouldn't have taken Odegaard off that quickly. With like, I felt like the combination was bad. I understood taking Jesus off because we've talked about that, of like, oh well, maybe we play somebody else. But the injury hurt them. And so we've all done it. We've been in life. We've played sports. We played games where you're like, man, this domino fell. Okay, well, as long as this thing doesn't happen, we're fine. And then that thing happens, you're like, well, I don't know what to do now.
Well, now we're screwed, right?
And the thing is,
taking your best player off
no,
when
I'm not
you're
agreeing
down
with
a goal at home with 15 minutes to play and you need someone to step up, you take your captain off?
Yeah, I
Did
don't
you
understand
see who he gave the band to? He didn't know who to give the armband to because there was nobody else. He gave it to the guy that came in for him. He gave the band to Smith Rowe.
Mhm.
You choose who to give this to, because I don't know who to give this to. Because
well, the funny thing
take
is,
your off down 1-0 when you need somebody to step up.
It's like
This
conceding the game.
this isn't a brag, but Xavier, would I have ever come off the field if CSU were down a goal?
No.
You couldn't take me on. I wouldn't let you take me on.
Wouldn't let you take me on.
Well, and
right.
that was going to be my point. Is the thing is that I mean that I'm not saying that Odegaard should have been like a petulant child or whatever, but I feel like there should have been some fight in that.
Yeah.
Because, for example, and we're not there, but when Pep took Holland off, Holland didn't want to come off the field. They were up 3-0. He's like, I don't want to come off. He went to talk to him when he had the inkling he was going to come off. But that was different. In this one, I'm literally going over to the coach and saying, look, man, if we don't win this game, it's over. I need to play the whole thing. I don't care. You put me in a wheelchair, but I'm going to play the whole thing.
Yeah.
And I think Arteta would have respected that. So while we can put it on Arteta, the player has to take something in that too. I'm not saying he would have, but I feel like he could have said something. Because because at that point, if you rationalize with the manager, I've seen managers change their mind. I've seen it. So maybe he didn't make the case. Yeah. And that's a part of the growth process. But again, it's some of these things you can't teach. They got to be in you. Some of them you can't teach.
And you got and hey, that's just it. Let him learn. Let him learn the last 15 minutes kind of thing. Keep him in there to learn this moment. Like, hey, it's on you. Like it's on you. And hopefully we will. Hopefully we will learn. And I think we will. And I think we'll be back with a vengeance next season. But unfortunately, this one's gone.
Man, is that again? And I'm seeing some Arsenal chat boards and stuff like that because I try to keep it pretty unbiased. And a lot of them are, I think some people, the initial knee jerk is, oh my God. But then a lot of people like, well, our goal was we finished Europa. Our goal is to be in champions. You did that. I mean, what hurts is that you're like, like you played the lottery and you're like, okay, well, I just want to win something. And then you get 5 of the 6 balls and you don't get the Powerball. So you win $1 million, but you don't win $1 billion. Are you mad still? Because you still accomplished your goal. Now, everyone will judge you, man, if you just got that one, but I still won. And yeah, I know we do it all, but I mean, these guys are young. Arteta is young in management. And now you can kind of be more specific about what kind of guy do you need in. And you're in a different position because Chelsea wishes that's all they had to do. United wishes that's all they had to do.
1 or 2 places, yeah.
You're in a place where Newcastle had to spend $1 billion to get where you are, and they're still, what did you say, double-digit points behind you?
15.
Yeah, we're 15 points clear.
Tottenham has Harry Kane, Sir Harry Kane with a fulfilling goals, and he's looking around like, if I was in Arsenal, I would be somewhere else.
Points clear of Spurs. We're 24 points clear of Spurs.
And you look at that, and there's so many other guys that wish they were in your team to have your unsatisfactory result. Yes, the game they played like boo-boo. They did. They played like boo-boo. I'm not going to give that one to you. They did. I don't know what they were doing. I watched the game. I'm like, what is this? And because I'm like, well, where did this team come from, Brighton? Because I never seen like, okay.
Yeah.
So
it's the team that got beat 5-1 last week. Yeah.
Right. By Everton.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, like I say, it's a learning experience and we have to take it as such. Hopefully they all do. And hopefully we're all still motivated to go again next season and to know that, as you say, 1 or 2 pieces and we'll be right back in there challenging again. Here's the rub, as you say, 8th place, 5th place, 5th place, and now we've smashed 2nd place.
Where's the failure?
Yeah, got to be happy with that. So let's go ahead and get 81 likes for those 81 Arsenal points this season. We'll subscribe to the channel. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening, and get the notification bell on. We'll be back really, really soon.